So you're very welcome to SUTV, and what we're going to do here today is give you guys an insight into what college life is all about as part of College Awareness Week. So we are delighted to be joined by McHugh, Access Officer at IT Carlow. We have Judy Murphy, the Careers Advisor at IT Carlow, and the wonderful SU President, Mr. Thomas Drury. Thank you, folks, for being with us today. Hope you're all well at this very unusual time. We've received a number of questions from guidance counsellors from schools right across the southeast. And these are some of the questions that I suppose the students are wondering about third level. So what we're going to try and do, I'm going to call out some of them. We're going to go through them, discuss them, see can we try and find answers which will hopefully help the students in their transition, hopefully, into third level education. So number one, first question, and it comes as this. What's the difference between a university and an institute of technology? Aisling, do you want to take that?
Well, if I could just answer that in a very simplistic way, an institute of technology is often much smaller, always actually much smaller than a university, and it really depends on the courses. The institutes of technology will have a range of courses from higher certificate 2-year courses to ordinary degrees, which are 3 years, to higher degrees and higher honours degrees, and also postgraduates. But in universities, you typically will only get honours degrees. Okay. So the institutes of technology often suit students better in that they're smaller, they have smaller classes than universities, they have shorter courses, so a student doesn't have to commit to a 4-year degree. They can do 2 years of a higher cert and then decide whether to go out and work or come back and finish off.
Are they more focused on practical, do you think?
Often there will be more contact hours during the week in institutes of technology, so a typical course might have maybe 20, 24 hours a week in class time, and they will be based on more practical, they will do a lot more labs and more studio work than you might find in a university.
Brilliant. Okay, next question. I'm not sure what I want to do and I'm in leaving cert. Should I fill out a CAO or not? Judy, I think that one is suited to you.
Yeah, it's a common question that people often ask, and for a lot of students they can always link in with their the student counsellor in the college that they're going to, or in the school that they're going to, and they can ask their advice. But if you're thinking that you might like to go on to even a level 6 or a level 7 or 8 degree, it definitely is a good advice to fill out the CAO form, and you can take up to the 1st of July really if you want to change your mind. So just because you fill it out, say, before Christmas or before the 1st of February when the deadline is, doesn't mean you can't change your mind, or you could always decide you get a course and you want to defer it for a year. But if you're not in, you can't win.
I know I changed my course literally the day before it closed in July. And it's important to note as well that you can get in touch with a lot of course directors and stuff, go through the prospectus and ask the questions.
Absolutely, and in the college here we would offer open days throughout the year to students, and as do a lot of the other colleges and universities. And it is a good idea to go along, have a look, see what you think, see what you like, because different places or locations might have a different personality, and it just might be something that might suit you. Sometimes the universities, the campuses are way too big and people are a lot more comfortable, and it's a lot more intimate, I suppose, when you're going to an institute of technology. And we're a very friendly place here in IT Carlow.
Yeah, did you want to?
And just if I could add as well, coincidentally our own virtual open day is on during College Awareness Week. It's on the 27th, Thursday the 27th, and it's on our details on our website. So that's a great way, as Judy said, of just touching base, finding out about the courses, find out what the subjects are and all the rest, and if there's placement, and really just talking to the lecturers. And
I'm curious, very quickly, did you stick with your first choice on CAO, or did you change it?
I changed straight away. Okay. I changed, just like you, just the day before. Yeah.
So there is hope. You don't have to stick with the first choice.
I had a level 8, and I was going for the level 8, and then for the last day, I chose the level 6. Complete last day. Changed the course completely.
Okay. What was your level 8 choice in?
It was business accounting in UL.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you've never looked back?
Never looked back, of course not.
That's great.
Yeah. But IT Carlow is your favourite. Wink, wink. Yeah, yeah. Okay, next question. I am thinking of about applying to college, but I'm really afraid I'll be homesick. None of my friends are applying to the same college as me. Who wants to take that one?
Well, I just have a lot of students that actually often come into me at the start of the year, especially first years. And what's important here is just because all your friends aren't applying doesn't mean we do have people. I met a girl here at the start of the year who was the only one from her school applying, and she was having a little walk around with her mum and her aunt, and we were so friendly. You know, she was delighted to be coming here at the end of the day. But with the clubs and societies and with the Students' Union and with all the activities, and we put huge emphasis on induction. So when you do come in, you're going to meet all the other people in your class and in first year. And even, you know, with COVID in mind, this year we very carefully spent a lot of time organising situations where people could physically meet in a very socially distanced, COVID-friendly way. But you do get to know your friends, and actually your college friends are probably more your friends for life than, you'll always have a few from school, but the college friends, the friends you make in college, you could have for life.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, coming to college is a huge transition in someone's life. And it is obviously scary, but it's only scary for the first couple of days. Because once you're in the college, then you start to make a friend. You get comfortable with the environment, with the people that are around you. And, you know, once you're there, it seems like a second home to you. It seems natural to be there. It's that transition beforehand that's the scary part. And once you get over that, then as Judy said, there's so many supports, and then you make friends, which are friends for life then.
And sometimes you need to give it a chance. Because I know when I first came into my particular course, TV and Media Production, I hated it for the first 2 weeks. Really? And I was going to drop out, and then I was told by my mother to just give it a chance, which I did, and couldn't have regretted it. You know, it was fantastic. So yeah, give it a chance. So
Michael, just on that, I think it's important to remember, you know, if students think back to when they were in 6th class and they moved into first year and they may have had to change school. I mean, that again, change as always can be difficult, but I think with the right supports around you, which there are lots of supports here, but with the right supports around you, with the right attitude, you can make it work. And of course, you may feel a little bit homesick from time to time, but that is very natural as well. So I wouldn't be overly concerned about it.
Okay, next question. I want to work with sport, but there's no way I'll get the points for one of the sports courses. What should I do?
Well, again, I might just...
Yeah.
Okay, and it was just as Aisling said earlier, you know, the advantage of coming to somewhere like an Institute of Technology and IT Carlow, that we would have lots of different courses. So if you think you're not going to get the points, first of all, I would say to anybody, start working hard, you know, put your heart and soul into trying to do the best you can in college. And when you make your selection, go look at level 7 courses and level 6 courses, and then check out whether those courses might feed in to a course that you wanted to do, you know. So, I mean, be it sport or business or whatever, it doesn't, you know, the question is sport, but it can be any course.
And a lot of courses offer the level 7 and then you can progress.
Or even level 6.
Or level 6 and you can progress.
You can come in on level 6 at relatively low points. And sometimes when people get to college, it's a different way of learning. So they actually thrive more in the environment in college. And especially if you have, you know, if you come in through an access route, if you have dyslexia or something like that, there's lots of supports available to you in college, and Aisling can talk more to them. But there are routes. Just because you like a level 8, work backwards and see what the level 7 is and what the level 6 is, and apply for the level 6 and the level 7 so that you have a number of options open to you.
Yes.
And just as Judy said, there are other options to the Leaving Cert. Just because you mightn't do as well as you think you hope you will do in the Leaving Cert, FETAC Level 5 is a brilliant option for students who want to progress to the Institute of Technology. And it also gives students a great basis in what they want to do. So, for example, very close to IT Carlow, and I know in most counties have very good sports and recreation courses in Level 5 that feed into Level 6 and Level 7, Level 8 courses in the Institute of Technology. So, for example, we have a lot of students who've come here doing our sports and rehabilitation therapy, strength and conditioning, etc., who have done a level 5 first of all. They may be mature, they may have been students who came from Leaving Cert and who just wanted to try it out or didn't get the points as well. So always research the level 5 option because it's a great route, a great alternative to Leaving Cert.
There's numerous ways to get into college.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's exactly what I did. I took the level 6 when I did 2 years, and I got my higher certificate in Limerick Institute of Technology. Then saw a pathway, I progressed into IT Carlow, did a level 7 in sports management and coaching, saw another pathway and progressed into a level 8 in management practice. So there's so many different pathways which can take you around different paths and end up where, a course that, you really want to be on.
Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, on to the next question. I heard it's really hard to get a job after college as all the jobs are looking for someone with experience. What's the point?
Okay, so I'll take that question. So first of all, you'll always hear there are no jobs, but there are always jobs for graduates, to be honest. And this year, even though it's a difficult year, is no exception. There are a lot of jobs out there. When you come to college, part of our programs, a number of our programs here, is that you would do a placement as part of the course, and that gets you experience. While you're in college, a lot of students decide they're going to maybe get a little part-time job. And all of those jobs, they're all relevant because you have to get up in the morning. So if you get up and you turn up at work, you might be given a little bit more responsibility, or you might end up training somebody, you might end up becoming a team member. So you're building experience all the time. It's just you have to think broader in terms of being able to contextualize your experience for when you go for a graduate job. But again, we're here to support and help all our students, and we have fantastic results in terms of the types of jobs students go for. And it's not always the high-powered jobs, it's other jobs, and it's about whether they suit you, whether they're happy, you might just want to work locally. I think there was a question, one of the things we're often asked is someone's worked in a bank, how do I get a job in a bank, or how do I get a job in a credit union? And again, equally, they advertise for different people at different times. Lots of programs, especially going into financial services, they could look for a graduate, so.
Yeah, go ahead.
And as well, just to add to what Judy was saying there, more and more courses in third level have a placement element in it. And that gives some very valuable experience to students. It might necessarily be in the field, but hopefully it is in the field that they want to apply to. So it's a great way of getting work experience.
And I suppose there's something worth noting as well, is the clubs and societies, all the extracurricular activities that are in college,
absolutely,
all add to experience, interpersonal skills, dealing with as a team. Yeah, there's numerous different ways. You gain experience from day one.
Get experience absolutely from day one. And we do have some students, for whatever reason, have no work experience going through college for whatever reason. But we encourage them to participate in volunteering activities where they're working as part of a team or they're working individually and they're showing a bit of responsibility, etc., etc. And you would have experience of volunteering yourself, Michael, when you came here in first year.
Yes, involved in the President's Award as well. So it's fantastic. There's loads of things to get involved in. Next one, definitely for you, Thomas. What's the social life like in college?
Short answer is very good. I suppose right now with COVID, it's obviously a little bit reduced. But that's per government guidelines. But on any normal year, the college would put on so many different activities, engagements, especially from the Students' Union as well. You'd know yourself, we have a Freshers' Week, which is at the very start of the year, which is targeted to first-year students, and it's obviously it's a week of getting to know other people, but there's also activities on and off campus for people to make friends, especially those first-year students who come in who might not know other people, and just want that space and that opportunity to meet new people and meet new friends. So then we have our RAG Week, the infamous RAG Week, otherwise known as Raise and Give Week, which is for charity, but is also a huge national event, both with activities on and off campus, the likes of what we had here last, a few RAG Weeks ago. We had Steve Aoki, some international DJs that come down just for student nights. We have the mock wedding. We have the mock wedding where we have two students, two fake get married. Just anything that can increase, your activity, your levels of fun in college, because your college years are your most important, in my opinion. Yeah. They're the years you remember. So you want to pack it with full of fun, interactive kind of events and things to do. So they can look back and they go, wow, I really enjoyed my college time.
And huge personal growth.
Yeah.
I mean, from when people come in first year, you can see them, we meet them, to where they are by the time they get to third year or fourth year. It is amazing.
They grow into adults.
They grow into, well, some of them.
Right, okay, next question, and again back to Thomas for this one. There's 3 parts to this. So 1, what does the Students' Union do? 2, how do you work for the Students' Union? And then 3, what courses did the SU do?
Well, I suppose briefly what a student union is, it's a representative entity, a representative organisation, and we look after, or we represent the student body. So here we represent over 9,000 students at IT Carlow through student welfare, academic representation, and then the overall student experience. So putting on those activities to make sure that the experience is the best it can be for students. Also, a main aim of the Students' Union is to make sure no student is disadvantaged during their college time. So that's what we do the most. The second part of that question, Michael, was...
How do you work for the SU? So how do you get involved in it?
It's fully elected by the student body. So it's not one of those jobs that Judy's very familiar with where you sit down for an interview. It's an elected role. So you put yourself out there, which can take a lot of courage, but the right people who are extroverted people who might really like to represent, to look after, put themselves out there for election where they can be elected into certain roles. We have vice presidents. This is a national thing as well. It's not just in IT Carlow. You have vice presidents, part-times, through different range of education, welfare, equality, international representation. And then there's an election day which usually happens on campus, which is great fun for even if you're going for election or even if you're not going for election. The buzz of the campus of you know, I'm going to get elected, who's going to get elected. It's almost like the US presidential election. There's so much of a buzz about it.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
We won't even get into that yet.
You have the legal votes, of course. But no, it's a fantastic thing. Delighted to be elected myself. As were you. You were also elected there last year.
2 years running.
2 years running, yeah.
It's my first, well, I was mature student officer. So what are the, we have the president, yourself, we have vice president for entertainment and communications, which is moi. We have the vice president for welfare and equality, Alex at the minute. Unfortunately, we have no vice president for education and lifelong learning, but that is filled normally on an ongoing year. And then the part-timers, so we have 5 part-time officers. We have the mature student officer, which I was last year. We have the international officer, the media officer, the postgraduate officer, and there's one I'm leaving out there.
Studies and sport.
Thank you very much. And those 5 are actually full-time students. We're not. We've either finished or taken a year out or whatever, but they're finished. And I must say, even from a part-time, and you've been a part-time officer as well, it's a great way to build your network, learn how to actually deal with, I mean, you're sitting often in front of senior management saying, well, we want this, that and the other. And it's learning how to do that in a nice diplomatic way. And it's fantastic. I've learned so much over the years. But and then the final one was, what courses did the SU do and kind of did they relate to the job that you're going into now? So you've done...
Yeah, so I did management practice and then ended up to be president. You're doing TV media and you know, this shows. Here we go. But it's any course. It doesn't matter what course you do. It's all about the interpersonal skills that you build up from your, you know, even from secondary school to where you are now in higher education in first year. And if you don't want to take a year out, as you said, you can go for one of the part-time roles. You can get interested in the works of the Students' Union and then possibly go for a full-time role. But it doesn't matter what course you do.
I think Tom is right there, because one of the things you learn in your time in college is that you're not pigeonholed just because you do, say, management practice or you do a particular course. You're not pigeonholed into a career only in that area. And what you're learning all the time are transferable skills.
Correct.
So things like communication or problem solving or teamwork, and every single job you go for, that's what the companies are actually looking for. So everybody in the Students' Union, really, they bring their own strengths into it.
And it's important to know as well, when I suppose employers are looking at your CV, the more that's on it, that shows you as a person. Obviously,
not a one-trick pony. That you're more than a one-trick pony.
Yeah. Right. We'll go on to the next question. I want to run my own business. What course should I do in college?
Okay, so it's like anything. When you're in school, you might have an idea for a course, but actually you grow so much over from when you're, say, 17, 18, 19, over the next couple of years. To pick something, maybe an area of interest or something that you're interested in, can be useful. So maybe your course is tech related, so it might benefit you to come in and do something in the area of computing. Maybe it's something you're doing something digital or social media, so maybe to do marketing or to do PR, or even to do a business course or an engineering course. By the time you get through college, after 3 or 4 years, you may decide that what's going to really add value to your skill set that you have developed over the few years is to do a conversion course, and that's to do an additional course for maybe a year that is going to develop those further skills that you need. They could be in business, it could be in anything, but we're here to help and to guide you in terms of what that next step should be. And it may be you might go on and decide you want to do a master's here in IT Carlow.
Brilliant. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. I have dyslexia and I take a lot longer to learn than my classmates. Would I be able for a college course? Aisling, probably the best one for this.
Thank you, Michael. Well, the answer is, of course, you're able for it, and there are a range of supports that we provide to all our students who have a disability. We have upwards of 300 students registered with the Disability Service doing all full-time courses across the range, and we provide them with whatever supports they had in second level and also whatever supports might work for them here. So it might take them a little bit longer to learn, but we work with them and we have a lot of assistive technology we use here as well to help students correct their own work and help them learn. So for example, they might learn better by listening to things. We have assistive technology that reads their work to them so that they can listen to it maybe on a bus or in the car or whatever, and helps them to do exams. They can do their exams that way, whatever way works for them. So really the answer is any student who has any form of learning difficulty or disability, there are a range of supports here at any third level college specifically for you, and we can tailor them to suit your needs.
How do they apply for, do they go through CO, does it go through the college itself, or how does one apply for those supports?
Well, first of all, Leaving Cert students, we will know about them beforehand if they apply through the DARE process. The DARE process offers students, we are part of the DARE programme, and it offers students reduced Leaving Certificate points. So for example, if a course here in IT Carlow is 350 points cut off and a student has DARE eligibility, they may get in if they're within a 10% range of those courses. Plus the CAO then alert us of all students who came through that route. So we will contact the students themselves and say, I believe you're being offered a course in IT Carlow, or it could be university or whatever, and please come forward to the Access Office so that we can arrange whatever supports you need. And that's the same across the board. So we're anxious that students will contact us as soon as they get a place offer. Also, if a student doesn't come through that route, for example, if they do a QQI course or perhaps they're mature, we'll contact them as well, because if they tick the box on the CAO form to say they have any form of requirement, we'll know about them. So we want students to come forward to us as quickly as possible so that we can start their supports.
There's no barrier
and
to the...
There's no barrier. And if they miss the CAO, we tell them at induction, we say, please come forward. So, and we even give students a tour and say, this is the office you need to come to.
Okay,
so
brilliant. We're down to the last few questions, so we're on the home stretch. I did my work experience in a bank and loved it. What course should I do, what course should I do to get something like this in the future?
Okay, so if you start and take that, a lot of the recruitment into banks, for the most part now, tends to be graduate recruitment. And about 17% of companies will take students with any degree. So you don't need a specific degree to go in, and that's quite a lot. I mean, nearly 20% of companies. But usually if you had done something, depending on where they want to go, so they could be looking for someone to go into marketing. So they look for someone maybe with a marketing degree, could be going into finance, could be going into mortgages, could be going into group risk, could be going into computing. So it really depends on maybe what your degree is, and maybe on a particular year they're advertising for students with computing.
Okay. Next question.
Varies.
Sorry. Yeah, no.
Varies, yeah.
Did you want to come in on that?
No,
Anyone else? Okay.
Yeah.
Next question. My brother went to college and hated it. He left after 2 months and said it was not like he thought. I'm scared that will happen to me. I think we've kind of had this already when it comes to give it a chance.
I think everyone's different.
Yeah.
Everybody for sure is different, and I think to someone who's thinking like that, you're a different person, be your own person and go for it. If you're not in, you can't win. If you don't try, and as we're saying here, there are so many supports here, and if you do come in, and as Tom said, the first 2 weeks he didn't really like it, but then he gets to like it. And usually it's like anything. Think back to first year. What were your first couple of weeks like in first year in school, and you managed to get through to sixth year?
And often it's very important. Do your research beforehand.
Yes.
Don't pick a course because you like the sound of the course. Before you read, and read all the subjects, what's involved, so that you won't get a shock when you start off college.
And that is so important. The amount of research that students do before they come into college is so minimal, and there is a huge opportunity over Christmas. And as Aisling says, do your open day, go to the open day, don't be afraid to ask any question. There's no such thing as a stupid question. We'd be delighted with anyone to answer any question anybody would have, and then read the subjects, because sometimes a student will come in and say, oh, all the subjects are this way, I didn't think it would be like that. And when you probe a little bit, they haven't really read the detail of the course. So that would be important.
Yeah. Okay, second last question. My friend gets a grant while he's in college, but he says he's always broke and never has any money. Now, Thomas, you have, I live at home, so I'm no good at this, but you have gone through from LIT to IT Carlow, and you have you had accommodation, bills and everything else, and you've managed quite well. How? Yeah, how though?
I suppose, speaking from experience, a part-time job is something that is very helpful going through college. But it's the challenge there is to find the balance between college life, your academic side, and then your part-time job. Because it is a realistic thing that some students actually can't go to college if they don't have a part-time job, if they don't have that income, because some students can't rely on their parents, or they can't rely on certain grants that they might get. So what advice I would give is to make sure that you prioritize, timetable, be organized, schedule your times that you are going to do assignments, that you're going to study, knowing that you're going to have to work as well. So that's what I did. I made sure that I blocked off Monday to Friday, and I asked no work for those days because they were my college days. But then the weekend, unfortunately, suffered socially, and they were dedicated to the job. But that job then gave me money not only to pay my way through college, my car, my rent, but it also gave me a little extra spending money to have those nights out in college between Monday to Friday, because you do have those social activities Monday to Friday with your college friends. And there was a time during college where my weekend was Monday to Friday, obviously with college, but you didn't look forward to the weekend. You looked forward to Monday, and you were gutted when Friday came, because you didn't have your college friends then, you had your home time.
I suppose it is worth noting as well that there are lots of financial supports, both before with Susie and so on, but then during college as well. So the students should, I know sometimes it is a barrier, but it shouldn't be the ultimate barrier.
Yep, and we have, as you say, financial supports. Not a huge amount of money, but still we can help students with things like, as you were saying, rent, car costs, book costs, costs of coming to college. And it's really our main way of supporting students would be the Student Assistance Fund. And that students, once they're in college here, they can apply for the SAF, as we call it, and we can help them with things like those big costs that they have. So again, we're helping students if, like Tom was saying, if your job becomes too much and your hours become too much, what we say to students is cut down on your hours and we'll try and help you through the Student Assistance Fund.
Because it has to find that balance, otherwise you'll tire yourself out. And I suppose when students, if they do get SUSI or other grants, the Students' Union work with a lot of students to make sure that
the Students' Union have a direct line to the SUSI administration office. So we're always here to help when it comes to grants. If there's an issue with your grant, if you've been rejected or if you want to appeal, then the Students' Union can give you support in the information that you need to help you through that.
Brilliant. Now, I love this question. Okay. If you were 17 again, what would you do with your life? Now, Aisling, I know you're only 21, so that's only 4 or 5 years
It's
ago.
only a couple of years ago now.
What would you do with your life if you were 17 again? Would you go for the same path, or would you completely change?
Well, I went to college in the north. I'm from Carlow, and I went 200 odd miles away. So I just remember that it was very lonely, and I was homesick for the first couple of weeks, and then loved it.
You didn't want to go home.
Now, I wouldn't change a thing and I'm glad I stuck with it, because there were times I said, oh God, no, I'm going to go back, go home, get a job, whatever. But I'm delighted that I left it. I stuck with it and gave it a chance. Some of the best friends I made in life are from college, and I'll always have fond memories, even though they're distant memories now, of my life in college. So I wouldn't change a thing, really.
Judy, when you were in college 4 or 5 years ago, would you have changed anything, or are you happy at
I think maybe for the first year or two, what I might do differently is study more.
Right.
Okay,
yeah. I think we're all guilty of that.
Yeah, and I think, as Thomas said, it's about getting that balance. And I wasn't really aware at the time that the recommendation is probably maybe a part-time job, 10 to 15 hours a week. And so I was trying to do everything. I was trying to college and work and travelling. So, I may just step back a little bit and take a leaf out of Thomas's book and timetable stuff more, be a little bit more organised and structured.
Okay.
But I wouldn't change it. It was...
You were happy, you're okay. If you were 17 again, last year, I'm joking, would you have changed, or are you happy at...
I'm kind of happy to say I probably wouldn't change much. The one thing I would probably change is the late nights. And I go back to the point where I said you should schedule. Do as I say, not as I do, kind of thing. Because I remember second year, third year, staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning and then trying to go into college at 9 o'clock in the morning. It didn't work. So I suppose my regret would be to timetable a little bit more, get my work done before about 10 o'clock at night, so I have my sleep and I can actually go into college kind of refreshed the next day.
Great, I suppose myself. No, I'm happy because... And probably if it wasn't for COVID, we wouldn't be able to do the whole new approach to the Students' Union. So the Students' Union, as Thomas said, was a very in-person type organisation where you meet the people, meet the students. Unfortunately, this year was not possible, but we changed it and adapted. And I was actually able to put the entire course that I did into practice with our SUTV and the podcast as well. So yeah, I'm delighted. And to think because right up until the very last day, I had event management in DIT on my thing. Yeah, we won't talk about the competition, but that was it.
We nearly lost you.
Okay, if students want to get in touch, if they have questions or whatever, what's the best way? We'll start with Thomas. What's the best way to get in touch if they...
So you can get me on my email at supresident@itcarlow.ie, or you can even get in contact with the administration office. So that is admin_su@itcarlow.ie. Or you can check out the website for the Students' Union, which is www.itcsu.ie.
Brilliant, and we are open from 9 until 7 every day. If you want to, you can make a quick phone call, 059 917 5620. I should learn that. Anyway, I wish I knew my mother and father's number off by heart. Judy, what's the best way?
Well, I just think for students that are thinking of coming to college, probably one of the best places to go is go onto the main IT Carlow website, itcarlow.ie. And there is a little icon on it that says ask, and you can ask any question you like of the college on there, and that goes straight into the experts within the college. So it's sort of like, for us, it would be a one-stop shop in a way. For other types of queries. So that's what I would recommend.
Aisling, what's the best, or would you agree?
I would agree with Judy, but also we mentioned open day earlier on. I'll be online for our open day, virtual open day. I'll be answering queries that come in on Pubble. I'm also available access at itcarlow.ie, answers straight off. And anybody who has any questions about the DARE scheme or the HERE scheme, which IT Carlow is now in, can look on accesscollege.ie, and that'll get to us. IT Carlow is on that.
Brilliant. Well, folks, thank you very much. I hope our little discussion, and thanks a million for sending in the question, but I hope it gives you guys a little inkling into life in college, basically, and try it. Give it a chance. Like we were saying earlier, you mightn't like it in the first week or two, but give it a chance and do your research. I think is one of the big things that we were saying. Do your research. There is a course out there for everyone, and there's always a way into college. Mightn't be the most direct route sometimes, but there's always a way. That's a huge thank you to all that made this possible. Thanks to Hedgehog Productions, to the Students' Union, SUTV. Until next time, we might see you again very, very soon. Good luck.